successful now as the tides start to turn. Ice down, player also falling on the ground floor. Another shot, but it's traded off twice the first game where they're able to frag out and control the round. U2 Alliance holding them in sunken. They do have this blue zone right on their doorstep, but the push has to come through. It will sweep in, and Noise falls. U2 Alliance alive with 2, potential to res up to 3.
Yeah, this blue zone's really ticking. I think he's just going to have to go. He's going to have to leave that teammate behind because none of them are in zone either. This area of the map, by the way, all the hard cover is pretty much more or less taken, and you have the field finished. We have chopsticks in play, and that giant hayfield pretty much covers the majority of the map.
Sequestered themselves in the middle. Could be quite valuable already. Alpha 7 moving down. HVVP yet to make that lead in. Power. Playing in a strong position, actually. A little bit closer to Gatka. And the chopsticks providing sanctuary for Evos.
A lot of teams fighting right now for the control on this eastern side. That hillside is partially in zone, so we see Star Wars right there trying to take control of it. Nova right now forced to give that spot up. They're trying to reconvene to rotate somewhere. They're not in zone here. USG also not in zone. 1 million on the northeast and ruins so many teams still not yet in zone. So it is a mad dash, a fight to get the edge control on this eastern side.
It is really all about that northeastern side right now. The team's already in the fields. They're chilling for a while. Pittsburgh Knights, unlikely that they're going to push super far forwards from this point. At the moment, they're probably going to wait it out just a little bit. Maybe try and crash later on when there's a little bit more chaos to try and capitalize. But that northeastern side has about 5 teams looking to get in. Godlike Stalwart, they lost a player early. Pika falling, and they do not want to close this day out with another bad performance. They've had the one. And the Erangel, as the desk was saying, is 35 of their 36 points. So they do need these. They do need these Erangels to go well for them. So if you're going to not play essentially in 50% of your games, then you're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah, 35 of the... That's crazy to think about. U2 Alliance, this blue zone, you can see it here, taking really hard. This player's pretty much full boosted too, and he's not going to be able to make it in. Star Wars Esports on that northern hill. They will manage to take control of it. That's great for them as USG coming in on the lower side on that northeast side. Also finds himself a decent position, opens up with 2 and crashes right on in. Time to clear the circle, pick up those points. I like what USG is doing here.
Oh wow, hard south shift as well. Going to move down towards the players already entrenched, meaning everybody now on the north swathe will be caught out in the cold. HVVP start to open up the gas on that north edge. Looking out to play spoiler to everyone over there. Skylights in the meantime, struggling to keep themselves together. They're not even solidly into this next circle. They're all the way out on the northeastern side. They're going to have to figure out how to move yet again if they survive this reign of terror.
Long range shots coming out for STE. Inco looking to pick up some points onto the Donuts USG team. Star Wars Esports trying to answer right back with some points. That could be a good nade if it connects. That player won't be able to get revived either, as Mafioso in the elimination feeds gets the snipe right onto HVVP. And Order, is he the last up again? I think he is. Yeah, Order once again, the last player remaining alive for the side of Nova.
Still going, but if you're going to slip out of the top 3, this is the way to do it, right? Like, you just keep going with solo performances, and not even the top solo performer at that. In come Inco on the big crash. 2 players lit up immediately, but they do trade it 1-for-1. And a player V22K finally looking for more Solus again, trading off the numbers, and it's going back and forth between the squads. Squash is low, is losing Nenebeti on the forefront, leaves Inco in a 1 versus 2 right now. Solke and Lutz trying to hold it together. Squash puts the bullet through the window, but needs to try and force the heal. There's a wide flank coming through, should be on the broadside, but just gets back the cover. They're picking up these flushes in the meantime, and Lutz playing from the inside leaves them alone. Squash still trying to pop this medkit, trying to get himself back in the fight. Lutz lets him get past the window, floods all the way around the side. Now still in this 2 versus 1. There's another player looking to get flushed, trades around, but finally put to the juicer. Squash eliminated Fireflux. Stay up as 4, but they need these reses fast.
Yeah, luckily for them, no one third party that, no one was able to crash in because every team is just fighting on the outskirts of that building. Nova did get taken out by Alpha 7. Now Alpha 7 coming in from the western side as a four-man team. They're looking very strong here in this position. And what a valiant try and effort with that crash out of Inco. But yeah, it did not go their way. That medkit took forever to pop off and they managed to get it. All the meanwhile, Power has been sitting there chilling. They've racked up 5 elimination points for themselves.
Managed to pick up at some point. I mean, launching themselves off the bottom of the tables is really quite tight at that pack. So good news for them. HVVP down to 2 on the northern side. Meku, Tixi, heavy hitters for the squad. We've seen how impactful they can be. They are in this next zone, but they have a lot of field to cover here. 4 limbs, and Evos not going to want this one to get away from them. Their chance at the chicken dinner.
Oh, the Knights are still alive too on the south side.
They're still pushing him. You know, they've been biding their time. They've been chilling.
Yeah. Oh, they got the chopsticks too. The end of the chopsticks in zone. That's actually a very good position given how small the circle is. Luckily for the side of HVVP, they also get the edge of zones, shifting right up north of them. Now, Alpha 7, I do imagine they're going to end up taking a fight if they could get the opening onto. Yep, just as I say it, Fireflux, they get an opening onto them. Is the push coming out now?
M24 in the hands of Mafioso, looking to take a couple helmets. Maybe a little bit more than that if he's lucky. Fireflux playing central on the area. Still as 4, but taking a little bit of damage. We'll be able to res back up. Staying alive for now. Donuts USG. We'll have to leapfrog forwards. They have got that forward outposts in Noato.
And it's down to Evos and Alpha 7 now to make the next move. We did see Alpha 7 looking and eyeing the very top northern edge of zone. They're either going to take this and sweep to the north, or they have to take the full committed fight against Fireflux. But Fireflux does have 4, so even for Alpha 7, that's going to be a tough fight because they're going to have to crash into a very hunkered down and defensed up position out of Fireflux.
Sprays onto the vehicle for power. And these buildings very, very valuable. All 4 of them alive. Naoto. Donuts USG takes heavy damage, but stays behind the cover, gets back in. Wants to pop some healing. Coops spotted out by Evos there on the southwest side, and it's going to move away from them. We'll have to meet the chopstick finally.
The Alpha 7 tried to do a sneak play to get closer, but that did not work. And now Spec also knocked. I think the Knights are okay though. They're just, trying to play a little bit louder, peeking their heads up and over the chopsticks to find some damage. And here's Alpha 7 play now. They are going to go ahead and still continue with that push. It's a 3v4 as more and more Alpha 7 players get taken out.
Teams out in the open field starting to get cut down, scythed through by the sightlines available. Tixi spotted. Really solid spray there from top coming through. Surprising that he was able to manage to pull that one off. Should be resable in the position for HVVP, but still a slowdown. It might allow Godlike Stalwart to get a little bit more of a better position on this north side.
Knights hold strong. Still with 4 up. Evos forced out of their side of the chopstick will go down to 1 member. Redface, last one up. Power still looking good, picking up another point, up to 6 now with 4 people up with the strongest position and compound left in the zone.
Power on the southeast side, trying to bring it back. We talked about how Fireflux are doing really well on their elimination count. Maybe Power are going to be able to pick this one up. There's 6 limbs already as well. Towards the bottom of the tables, it would be a really good result to catapult up those standings at the end of day 1. Donuts USG spotted out by Tixi. They did get back up to 2 on the north side, but have to move.
They could maybe prone their way in. I think the grass is already rendered for the side of Power, so they won't be able to see clearly if the side of HVVP try to prone in, but Power is sitting so comfortable. They could watch every which direction they want to with no pressure. So they might spot something out as USG finally losing the zone behind this tree. They're going to try and do a smoke path and run their way in. But yeah, Fireflux now taking shots at those smokes. One player goes down. Lufa last up.
And off the meds, send it forwards. I mean, you're going to take the L there. And either way, fortunately, will fall down. So 5 teams remain now. Fireflux at 4, Pittsburgh Knights and Power all at 4, all in that red zone, that elimination bracket. So a really solid result for all 3 of these teams.
Oh, they managed to find a finish onto Fireflux. The Knights managed to take one down. That is a huge mistake when you're in Fireflux's position with so much cover. Getting knocked, sure, it's fine. But getting knocked and finished, that is a huge, huge loss for the side of Fireflux. They're up to 13 eliminations though, which is great. But when it comes down to the final 3 teams, you would want to have 4 because the other 2 teams, the Knights and Power, with 4 alive.
I don't think anyone would have called this final circle, the 3 teams, that very time.
I do think the Knights is in the worst spot though. They're not likely to get the next circle, and all eyes on them. If they have to leave that chopstick ditch, there is no cover. It's all flat ground. Their vehicles are inside the ditch. They're not going to be able to use anything. They could drop a wall of smokes, but that is just going to insinuate Power to spam smoke so extremely hard. I don't think the Knights can manage to make it out of this one. Not as a full squad, at least.
Looming that smoke. They do still have that edge to play the cover. The backlines of Power will have to move potentially a little bit faster on this next circle. So might be a little bit of an issue for their sight lines, but they do have those buildings to move towards.
Good zone for Power here. Majority control. Fireflux will have to move out of cover. They do have like maybe a few ridges just close to them, but easily in nade range, especially with that watchtower position that one of the Power member has. This is the game for Power. If they lose this, I would have to say it's because it was a throw. And Coops, if anyone can get an opening, it would be Coops. Is the Knights going to make a move off that? They kind of have to. Zone is starting to close.
Kante has the sight line. Swapping the weapons back and forth. Can't quite decide what he wants to go for. M4 is the selection in the end. Spots Xenox, move up and hit the deck behind the buggy, jumps into the vehicle. Oh, clipping the roof there with the bullets is really going to hamper them. Not able to land the shots over towards Fireflux either, and Power's position is slipping just that little bit. That crate that could be moved forward to by the Pittsburgh Knights could be very, very valuable. They're out in the open now. Spec hits the deck. Watch the drop shot, but Solus is on the ball for Fireflux. And again, in the watchtower, Power rain down bullets. And it looked like it was a little bit ropey for a while, but now they're starting to put the pieces together. The puzzle is taking shape, and the Power is starting to turn up to 11 here. All 4 of them still alive. They will wipe out the Pittsburgh Knights with 5 eliminations, and Fireflux now have the full attention of Power.
Oh, the nade's raining in. It's getting close. We've got 2 more people pushing up. Another nade hit. It is all but said and done. They will get the revive, but I think this is it. Power will end up taking this game.
Catch, the last standing for the squad. A fearsome player in his own right will be able to find one, but position is now known and a sliver of HP is there. Last shots land, and it's Power to end the day with a chicken dinner. Look at that.
What a drastic difference in performance for the Power team on Erangel. No hot drop, no going out first, and you end up getting the chicken now, albeit they got so heavily zone blessed. They made 1 rotation, and that's where the zone ended. All the way through, it just kept closing and closing on that compound, which, by the way, is such a strong compound. And with the way the zone played out, they had full control.
I mean, currently, I think the bubble sits at around 30 points.